3, 2, 1,
Okay. So we talked about why are you?
Sir.
Then let's slide into now what? We talked about why you're here. Different things. Let's go into now what?
What's
Now
your
what?
next move?
Now what? What's your next move? And my now what is like kind of depends on how you want to use the phrase. You could have been killing something. Whatever it is. Got it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just been on a roll with something good, bro. At work, in life, at home.
Killing it, huh?
Been killing it, been riding it.
Okay.
Everything, you had a high level of success. Everything you've been trying to do. So now what? Now what? What
Passionate
you gonna
about
do
that.
now? Now what? What's next for me? Where am I going with this? What do I want to do now? And I feel like whatever you want to do. If you're on that roll and you seem like everything been going good for you, understand why you have had this success.
Go ahead, bro.
Why you have had this success, and what it is, what's the next project you want to accomplish? So now what? I think that's the question you ask yourself. Now what?
So, because I know you, same mama, same daddy. Shout out to Honeycomb. It sounds like you talking about after you've had a successful run at something and you completed that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sound like your life.
Right.
So this is from you personally, and I'm trying to gather everything so I can slide in there. You speaking to that group of people who've accomplished something,
Right. Because we all know I did 35 years on the job.
but still got plenty of life left to live.
Plenty life left to live.
Now what? Y'all think about it.
Think about it. But I don't know if you can ready to say something, bro. But
I'm
it,
not.
it don't necessarily have to. I mean, that's me. Like I said, I was 19 years old when I started working on that job. I was 53 when I retired. I had no plans to do, to stay there that long, but it lined up and it worked out. So, when I remember walking out that day, and that almost was the question I asked myself that day. Now what, Lo? Now what you?
But is it really complete? Because you always tie back into that some kind of perspective, just like, and you just had a conversation probably an hour ago, tying into that 35 years of that work. So to me, it's never complete.
But that work was complete.
That part was complete,
That was
but you're
completed,
still
yeah.
utilizing all of the knowledge that you gained from that work to
Right.
teach and tutor
Right.
upcoming people. So
And then
now what?
I had to find the next step. I had to find that was what was gonna be next for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't necessarily have the answer to it. I've done a few things. I do a few things. Obviously, I drive school buses during the summer. I am a summer youth coach. So it looks like some of the things that I chose to do tied into me being here.
Yeah. How about look at it from this standpoint? If you have a business and you feel like you exhausted all possibilities in your region, not your region, your area, how about broadening your horizon and going out further? Like if you have a brick and mortar in St. Pete and it's doing perfectly fine and doing well, how about going abroad and going across the Skyway, going to Tampa, or even going to Orlando to start that exact same business to see what it would do there?
Okay, so now what with that? Now what? You network. You network,
Sir.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you an example. When the podcast pastor first started this whole podcast thing, he went to this, what was it, a convention?
Convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, the podcast.
Okay, because he started the
podcast summit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So he started the podcast. He was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. But now what? What's next? Where do I want to go? What do I need to do? How do I need to be better at? How can the podcast be better? I'm gonna go to this podcast summit. There was a now what episode right there as well.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's not always positive. It's not always elevation. sometimes the now what question is, I got a scenario. I'm gonna give you a scenario. I know a young man who got an eviction notice. He had a bad roommate. He was starting to dive into alcohol and that kind of stuff, And when he got the eviction notice, he had a job. But we all know how much it is trying to move into a new place and that kind of stuff.
Sir.
So when he got the eviction notice, it was pretty much, oh my goodness, now what? Now what? And instead of him diving deeper into everything that was all the negative that was going on around him, he made some phone calls. He got into this like a self-help housing place. You know what I'm saying? And he was accepted in this place. They have meetings and that kind of stuff, So his now what motivated him. It encouraged him to be better than what he was at that time,
Correct.
And now he's in stable housing.
Okay.
He's sober. He is accomplishing a lot more than he was at that one point just
So do
a
you
few weeks ago.
feel that the now what is something that you have to research, pray about, and try to figure out? Because I'm gonna look at it from my perspective, what we were talking about in the last episode, where with the Forest Purpose, like I just told bro I wanted to come in here and sit and watch you guys do what
Right.
you do, not knowing that day you guys were going to invite me on the show to do whatever. And later on throughout that week, podcast pastor presented me with the opportunity to become part of the show. So I had to do a now what thinking process of, is that something that I would like to do? Or was it just something that I just want to sit in on and I just possibly just threw myself into something that I really didn't want to do? So I had to figure out, okay, these are my big bros I always want to be around, but am I fully equipped to get in front of a audience and have different conversations with them?
Your pursuit to your now what is your pursuit.
I'm pursuing tenfold.
My pursuit to my now what, because like I said, my now what might be like after retirement. Or it could be the success pattern, everything being so good, and now I'm beating my chest. Now what? Now what? Who else? What you got for me next?
Okay.
Yo, now what? Everybody now what has a different pursuit.
Just a conqueror,
what I'm
huh?
saying?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
That's you.
there are some people like that. I do my best. I struggle just like everybody else. But I struggle is part of my story.
Especially
Get
with
better.
words.
Struggle.
Let me step in and coin something. Like a coin is two sides. I heard you say this, so I just want to bring it out and put it in a different format. Your now what? Everything begins with a choice, a decision, a perspective.
Absolutely.
So what I heard you say was, and I want everybody to pay attention to this because you have to choose which side of the coin you gonna read it from. So the positive side of now what is what next? What do I need to do to move forward until whatever that is? The negative side to a now what, when people have that, is they live under the spirit of what else could go wrong.
Right.
Like you were saying about the eviction thing. What else could oppose me? What else could come against me? So, we're going to really get into this on the other one.
Yeah.
So I ain't going to go too deep into it because we're going to say this for another podcast. But I want to come in on the part where you talked about what I did with the podcast. And I think this is going to be very helpful for the person who's wondering now what.
Says he who had nothing on this topic.
Again.
And I ain't got much. Is that the first thing you have to do is you have to make a decision on what's next. Okay?
Right.
So, like, you had to make a decision when you retire on what's next.
Right. I couldn't
know
just
what
sit
I'm
in the house.
So, just sit in the house. So you have to make a decision. And a lot of time, people don't realize it, but a lot of people are so indecisive and they so used and depend on people to make decisions for their lives for them that they're incapable of deciding something for themselves.
Okay.
Okay, so when we talk about now what's look at what's next. The first thing that we need to do coming out of prison, still sitting in prison, supporting those in prison, is make a decision of what you're getting ready to pursue. And then, so with me, that was the podcast. Okay. So me coming out of ministering in churches and all of that, now what's next for me? I felt the pull of God to pull me away from that type of organization to really be able to do my thing. So now what became what's next? What's next was the podcast. Now, what do I do to make what's next come into play? The first thing I had to do was make an investment.
Right.
That's what you was talking about. So to that person that says, now what? They decide what's next. Now what you need to do is be prepared to make an investment. Everything we got is this is a financial investment. A lot of people can't see the studio, but everything we got is a result of the initial investment when I went to that first podcast summit.
Okay.
Where I learned the equipment that they were doing. When I learned this and I learned this and I learned they show structures and stuff like that. So your now what begins with what type of investment do you need to make? Let's go to Smurf. D-Moss, C-Moss. Now
Yes,
what? What's next? I'm going to make a C-Moss supplement, put it in the juice form or whatever form it is, to give people the nutrients. So that was what's next. That's what you decided to do.
That is your next, yeah.
Now what type of investment? You bought that very expensive juicer. You know what I'm saying? So I just want them to catch on with really what, because now what is not the beginning. The beginning is making the decision what's next. Once you decide what's next, what you getting ready to pursue, now how do you need to invest in yourself or in it to get this thing rolling? That's all I want to put.
There are so many people out there doing things that are accessible, that are workable. I mean, like, how many? It's been people juicing for years and doing all that kind of stuff, you know, for decades, you know, and everybody trying to get it right, everybody trying to master, you know what I'm saying? And now, even though that may have been somebody else's pursuit, you jumped on it, you know, you're learning to master it, and now you can make it global. This can be your thing. You know, you was kind of talking about the last episode, your purpose, and while you're here, it might be D-Moss, C-Moss, bro. Why not?
Yes, sir.
Why not?
Yeah, because your purpose can consist of multiple assignments.
Absolutely. You can
See,
be good at a few things.
Purpose is the reason of your existence. So my purpose is to communicate. But assignments have been preaching, podcasting, book writing, one-on-one coaching. So as well as Smurf is a podcaster, your purpose is to enrich the lives of people. Let's look at it like that. So Coach Smurf, you enrich the lives of people through coaching young cats in football. You're enriching their lives. You enrich the lives of people of every time we get on this mic. You enrich the lives of people every time you make some C-Moss and sell it. You understand? So let's make sure that people, and I'm glad you brought that up, that people understand the general purpose is something, but there are multiple assignments. And as you decide what those assignments are you finna embark on, now what? What's the investment you need to make?
Recognize your victories. Recognize your success. Look at all the young cats who you started in Little League. Look where they are now. Look how they come back to you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they did to help get them there, that's fine. But they recognize the important part that you played into their lives. You know, understand what I'm saying? And now, this C-Moss, D-Moss, you know, it can be huge. Why not?
You get into existence, bro. Yes,
you
sir.
know, so okay now, but
why not us?
But you
why
got
not now?
You got sounds like a episode.
Probably 3 or 4. Go back and check it out.
But what you gotta do, bro, and I ain't telling you nothing you don't already know.
Coaches though,
You gotta tie into it. You gotta tie into it. You wanna know why you're here? C-Moss, D-Moss, why you're here. You know what I'm saying? You know, one of the important reasons why you're here for Felons Ain't Failures too as well. But tie into it. Root into it. Get your foundation into it. Okay, now make it global. Make it global.
And for those who don't understand,
you gotta go to a juicer seminar, like bro.
What you need to make the investment.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, the investment is the now what.
Go
but
for it,
and
man.
I like the way you said that because I'm always like it's hitting my mind of ways to break it down for people to understand. With this purpose and all this, how you said the podcast, Little League coaching, C-Moss, D-Moss. You go to college, you get a bachelor's. But there are multiple classes
that you have to
take for you to earn that and to fulfill that. And that's the same thing it is. The purpose is the degree. But you got to take math, you got to do English, so there are multiple things that you do that equate to the degree that you want. You know what I'm saying? But just like getting a degree, it costs money. That's an investment. You got to do homework. That's an investment. So whatever is next, then now what is there has to be an investment. There has to be an investment. If you'd have never invested in that juicer, you wouldn't sell half of the stuff you sell. Because I got a juicer, I don't have yours. And when I taste your juice versus my juice, they both taste similar, but your juice is cleaner because you made a greater investment. So now the question is, how good do you want your thing to be? What are you willing to invest? I ain't willing to buy no $500-$600 juicer, but I ain't got D-Moss, C-Moss. I don't need it.
You don't need it.
But I had a podcast. I was spending $1,000, $2,000 on tickets, flights, hotel, so I can learn stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's about the investment, bro.
Yeah.
It's about the investment. Even
Investing
like
in yourself.
your next. Okay, you retired from the city. Your next, you decided, I'm going to go this route. But before you can get on that school bus, you had to get another endorsement to your license or something.
Several.
You had to make an investment.
Yeah.
There's always an investment that precedes, you know what I'm saying, the pursuit and the journey. So once you figure out what you want to do, you got to be willing to make the investment. If you ain't willing to make the investment, you get it done.
Yeah, get it done.
Because that little juicer from Walmart ain't going to do what you do.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it definitely ain't going to do that.
I'm working
Go ahead,
on my investment now because I'm so locked in with what's going on with this podcast. I sit around and I say to myself, okay, I want to get some more education. You know what I'm saying? I want to get some more education. I want to be smarter at a lot of different things.
Mhm.
You know, I want to be more technical with it. I want to make sure that when I'm speaking, you know, I ain't trying to be perfect and all that kind of stuff there, because that's one thing about this podcast. We real with it, you know. But I know there's a lot of other avenues that I can pursue that'll make me better at what we doing right now, what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just like you with that juicer, man, I mean, I hope that you are as fired up about it as I am for you.
He
You
ain't.
know,
He ain't.
I don't feel like he
He
bro.
ain't. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why, because we had some episodes, and I know this came from the Lord, where he's supposed to make a post to teach at least one person a month how to do what he do. He ain't did it yet. He ain't made that investment.
Are you good at it?
Yeah.
Coach?
Yeah, I'm going to call him out.
Are you
but that's
good?
my brother. I love
good at this
He
juice?
ain't did
At the
that
juicer?
yet.
Yeah.
I'm great at it.
Okay.
He ain't taught that one person for free every month so they can bring some residual income into their house.
Yeah, I'm great at
He ain't
it.
did it yet.
It's
Ain't
called.
did it yet.
It's
Now
called-
what?
It's called being put on blast.
Yeah.
The
Now
new
what?
year.
It's a good blast.
January,
though.
we
It's a
gonna
good
have
blast.
somebody
It's a good blast.
at
But
our
listen,
show.
Oh, go ahead. I seen your heads. You go
Well,
ahead.
but believe in it. Believe in it, bro. Believe in it. I mean, you know that don't ask yourself no more why you here. Why you supposed to be here? What's your call? You walk past it every day.
Yeah.
You make it every day.
Yeah, your purpose
There it
is to
There
enrich,
it is. Now,
enrich lives.
we have to understand that in pursuit of what we're trying to achieve, there are other things that still must be accomplished. You still gotta work.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't know how. I know your money long like train smoke, but you still gotta work. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
what we do.
We got lives to live. We got family to take care of, you know, but
Bills don't stop.
don't put your dream on the back burner. You know, you see it. You good at it. Then live it. Live it, bro.
If that's what you want.
What is it? Live it. I think that's
If
that's what you want. I can't say what you want.
That's why I would say you
I
got-
can say what you're good
You
at.
make a decision.
Yeah,
If
I can
that-
say what you're good
if that's
at.
what you, because if you don't want it, don't do it. Because your heart.
And I think you got the right support around you at home and that kind of
Oh, yeah,
stuff there.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So get your network on, get your research on,
and
invest.
Look up these,
Invest.
like I did with the podcast. Look up those juicing conferences and seminars and go to them. They be all over. Find one and go to it. Like even with here, like I've invested in starting a podcast with. But when I talked to Lopez at the last conference, what I told you, next year we all gonna be here. We decided we want to do X amount of dollars in marketing this year. You know, I want to do X amount of dollars in one-on-one coaching this year. So we got some marketing plans. Like, we are making the investment, and I'm just repeating myself because without the investment, you won't have the success of it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be willing to invest. Stop wanting something for free. Stop looking for a handout. dig in your pocket and invest in you. Because they say if you don't bet on nobody else, bet on who?
That bet on
Bet
yourself.
on you.
That'll bet on yourself.
Bet on you.
Stop.
So if you're going to invest in anything else, we buying all this stuff, invest into all these companies, invest something in you, buy you some books, take you a class, go to a seminar. You never know. And I went to that podcast thing. The person who sat at the table with me, we ended up having to interview each other, was the same person I lined up to rent an Airbnb from when I went to Georgia. Didn't even know until I saw the name. This same person I met in the podcast thing, never talked to after that. I registered for Airbnb and I see that person's name. I'm like, look at this. So you know I'm finna, hey, you know who this is.
Yeah.
This Felons Ain't Failures. We sat at the table together. You know what I'm saying? But and that's how I go, man. Make that investment. Because a lot of times the investment go beyond what you gain from it. It's a connection you can make. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you make an investment and you realize, oh no, this ain't for me. But you'll never know that if you just don't make the investment. You'd be surprised. You can't make it without investment. Invest in yourself, man.
You know what? I get so excited because about when we put out episodes like this, because there are regular people, bus drivers, people working in restaurants, people answering phones somewhere, people taking blood at the doctor's office or somewhere. But sometimes I feel like if I might be walking by a millionaire, a billionaire, if they choose to be that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But you have to believe that you can do something different. When you're sitting on that bus in between your schools and you go to your Facebook to read funny reels and that kind of stuff, go to something that can make you better. Say, I want to see another way I can elevate my financial game. You know, and start looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
shout out to Wall Street Trapper.
do something different.
Somebody
because
send this to Wall Street
I
Trapper.
know how many of us don't, because I'm part of the same problem. I'm part of the same clique, you know. But now, with these things going on, with this podcast, with these episodes that we come up with the research that I be doing on all kind of stuff, but okay, everything not a joke no more. And again, go back to there ain't no magic pill, ain't no push button, ain't no magic wand, can't pull no rabbit out no hat. Don't think just because you're gonna make a TikTok video that, okay, I want everybody to look at it, I'm gonna be funny or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It might be a start, but you're gonna have to do more than that.
You gotta work, you gotta invest.
Gotta invest.
You gotta invest. You gotta invest. We invest all the time.
Gotta invest.
And all we doing, and we ain't worry about numbers here. We're building ourselves up individually.
Yep.
We're building this podcast up to be a force organically.
Right.
But we can't do it without investment. You know, and not to throw too much out there, but Lopez, who is our podcast production manager, came to me and said, Chuck, we need to go to the next level. Let's get some more cameras.
Okay, just bought 3
But
new cameras.
we got 3 new cameras.
One
And
cheap.
they weren't cheap. They wasn't cheap. They wasn't free. They was an investment. But we're going to see the difference. We're going to get the results. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
and it's funny how we come up with titles, but there's always a reoccurring term. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Who?
A
I think I was thinking thermos.
glad
or
it ain't
something.
just me.
Up here. A reoccurring term
Okay.
throughout our message. And it sounds like with the now what, everybody now what is investing yourself to.
It's recurring, but it's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That's all right. We got you though. We know
What's
what you
that?
meant. We
Coach
understood.
Smurthon gave me 3 cups of coffee. So
I gave them to you. Asked for them.
Somebody said to me that it kind of sounds like y'all talk about the same thing.
Hey, hold on. Now, who said that?
No. But it's just that, well, we do talk about a lot of stuff. But because
the
it's
truth is the truth.
yeah, it's the community
And
that
it don't
we
change.
build. You know what I'm saying? That's no shout out, no block against the person
Okay, no
who
negative.
told me that.
Okay,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
It was just me saying to myself after listening to him say that, I say, well, yeah, we do, but I think it's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, I say I don't think every podcast is something different. You know, I think it's important, and we don't try to do this on
I would
purpose.
say, are we trying to, or just how it flows?
Well, I mean, when we say, we talked about that in another podcast, we don't try to
Yeah,
do that.
I was gonna say,
You
are
know,
we
but
trying
it's
to?
about aligning the purpose of what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go. You know, so you're gonna hear some of the same things. We're gonna touch bases on some of the topics that we might have touched on before. But it's all about to try and get us to be better and stronger, to have accountability, to get some strategy and some structure into our lives.
Yes, sir.
So we can get to going where we want to be.
Yes,
Wherever
sir.
it is you want to go. Whatever you want to go. Because I just think it's so many people out there that can elevate so much higher than where they are right now. It's easy to get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get comfortable and complacent. But oh my goodness, for all the people that's out there, I just think you can rise higher. I don't care. It doesn't matter what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Get that mic up, man.
Yeah,
Right there and push your mic away from you.
What I was trying to talk. But anyway,
Don't push it down.
Timid.
put the work in. Take a chance on what you want to do. Take a chance on what you want to do.
Bet on
you. Invest. Bet on you.
Yeah.
I think I sum it up as far as us three. We giving out life lessons, but not only to our people out here that's watching FAF, we're giving out life lessons to ourselves as well.
Absolutely.
It's really every episode realizing something new, another avenue to better myself or I didn't think of. So I just think that we're just throwing out life lessons and they're meaningful. Like you say, the truth is the truth. You can't run from the truth.
You can't change. It don't change.
Yeah.
You can say it a million different ways, but you're
it
saying
end
the
up being
same thing.
Yes, sir.
We telling you to fight off self-sabotage. We're telling you to invest in yourself. We tell you to be consistent. We tell you to go to counseling. We're telling you the same thing in every topic. And the reason we're saying the same thing because the truth doesn't change. And the truth in our audience and the community and the environments that we live in, those are the things we face. Our biggest battle is our thinking. That's why we attack the thinking.
Right.
And then what we suffer from, so we're gonna always talk about it.
And,
real.
Always. And
because I need to hear it.
Absolutely.
Like now, I'm good on investment, but I know now Smurf got to leave here. Coach Smurf got to leave here thinking like, okay, what's my next move as far as investment? If that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If not, we talked about this. Out there, we was talking about, since we talked about joining something where we can, I don't want to say the name of it because they don't pay us.
Right.
So they don't get no commercial time.
Right.
But becoming a part of these programs where we sit around and we talk and go through positive critiques.
Right.
That's an investment. Even though it's free,
It
costs of our time.
Yeah.
So and because we always want to be the leaders, the alpha male.
Right.
We want to be the alpha and whatever we trying to get to the audience.
Right.
So we just put a plan together of a different investment that we got to make in our own lives. And we're going to do it together. But it's to make us better. And then it gives us content and gives us the right. Because when you make the investment, you have the right to tell somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me to do what
You ain't
did
done.
for yourself
Exactly.
first.
That becomes that's a good leader.
To our felons
2 minutes.
out there, male, female, to our people outside of the prisons who feel incarcerated in this world that we live in every day. Give yourself a now what? Now what? But be positive. Stand strong with it. Now what? Now what I'm going to do? I heard the podcast. I heard everything they had to say. Now what? And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the investment. I'm going to be better. I might be comfortable and okay where I'm at, or I might hate where I'm at, but I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to do something to make a change. That's what I'm going to do.
Yes, sir. And let me say this because I have people like that approach me and say things. I want you to understand that this movement for the felons, that the podcast is for us to get everybody attention, to build a community. But because a lot of people keep saying, man, y'all got to do this. Like, we have nonprofit things. We have things. We are going to be in the prisons. We're going to be in the correctional facilities, teaching, doing workshops. So just be patient because we're building the community. Because when we get going and we step out there, we're going to go to a prison. We might get on here and say, hey, we need 50 people to buy a book so we can get to this prison and hand out 150 books. So we're building the community, and this podcast is just the beginning. This is not the felon movement. This is the beginning. This is the introduction so y'all will understand the DNA that's running through the vein of this podcast. You got about changing lives.
You got to walk before you can run. A lot of people who say those kind of things, they come across some kind of podcast that may be presenting that kind of stuff. Yeah, but that podcast might be 20 years old.
Yeah, and we're not a resource center. That's not what we do.
That's not what we do.
Yeah, it's not a resource
There
center.
are those out there, and if that's what you're looking for, then then find it.
Yeah.
And we will link up with them when it's time.
When it's time.
But right now, we're trying to turn that thinking.
Yeah.
We're trying to turn that thinking, get you to see differently, do differently, be differently, have differently.
You to work on you.
Whether you're locked up or you're not.
That's right.
You know, this for everybody. It's the
you
people's
work on
podcast.
you as we work on us.
Absolutely.
Fellas Ain't Failure Podcast. Love y'all.
We out,
Peace.
baby.
Cue the merch music.